Hello, my name is David and I'm with LumenCache, and today I want to show you how you can connect up your light to a SIB-P so that you can connect it into your LumenCache system. So the first thing that you want to find out is if your light has one of these remote drivers. If it's got a remote driver on it, this usually means that your light is compatible with LumenCache, and we can go ahead and connect it up. So first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open the remote driver to its main component board here, its PCB. And you can see that there's some cables inside. 3 cables, usually going to the LED. Sometimes there's 2 cables. If it's got color tuning, there can be 3. So on the circuit board here, it sometimes tells you which one is which. Here you can see the black cable is W negative, which stands for warm negative. There's a white cable that goes into C negative, which is cool negative, and then the red is LED positive. So what we're going to want to do next is we want to take our snips and just cut it right at the base there, as close to the circuit board as possible, across all 3 cables. And you're going to want to remember that order. So again, the black is the warm negative, the white is the cool negative, and the red is the LED positive. Now, if you look on your L3 SIB-P, or whatever type of SIB that you have, your SIB-P, you can see that there are 3 points where you can plug in your wires. You've got the C-, the plus, and W-. And those are the same wires that correspond to the one on your LED that you have. So what you can do is you can start unscrewing off these screw terminals so that they're prepped and ready for us to plug in our wires. And you're going to want to strip these wires a little bit so that you've got some copper showing. So sometimes they can be a little finicky. Don't use too much pressure or you'll cut right through it. We can twist these wires, or if you're really fancy, you can tin them. And we can plug them into where they correspond. So again, if we look at our PCB, you can see the order that they are: the W negative, the C negative, and the LED positive. So let's go ahead and plug those in. So black goes into W negative. Got shaky hands. The more you twist these, the less they'll move around on you. And we'll use our tweaker here, our flathead tweaker, to screw this in. Our white was our C-, so we'll plug that into there. And our red was our LED positive. All right, so now the last thing that you want to check here before you start plugging it in is you've got this little flag, and this flag says short the C plus W. So that's the cool and the warm wires. You can short those together in the case that you only have 2 wires. In this case we have 3, so we'll leave that in the position that we have it vertically. Now we can go ahead and plug in our light and we'll see if it works. So we got it plugged in. Huzzah! We have light. It even has color tuning as advertised by the manufacturer. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so next up, you can tidy up your wires. Oftentimes they have this little tab here, you can push it in and you can put the case on your SIB-P here. But let's go ahead and connect up another type of light here. With a bulb fixture, you need to take a few things into account. First thing is you need to have a low voltage bulb if you're going to use it with your lumen cache system, because we use 48 volts and most bulbs, they are 120 volts. And then they've got some adapter on the inside that changes all the voltage around. Anyway, just make sure that you pick up the correct kind of bulb from our website to make sure that you're using a compatible one. So this is what we will use to represent your fixture. This could be a sconce fixture, a pendant fixture, any sort of like old style AC kind of light fixture. This is technically identical. It just doesn't have a ground wire, which is totally fine. So first you want to go ahead and take your SIB-P and you want to plug the black wire into positive. And your neutral wire into either negative and then where it says short C plus W, this is where this comes important, right? This is where it comes in handy because it puts those cold and warm together so that they're one single connection. So we're going to put those together because we only have 2 wires. And then we can go ahead and plug in our bulb. And when we test our bulb here, test our connection, we have light. So that's how you can work with bulbs with a SIB-P. All right, next up we can show how to connect in a strip light. So on this one, you want to look for that labeling again. So here you can see we have our 48 volt DC right here on the brown line. You have your C minus on the white line and your W minus on the yellow line. So those correspond with your SIB-P again. So the yellow goes to the W minus, your brown goes to your positive, and your white goes to your negative here, at least in this case. Sometimes it can be different, you know, manufacturers have their own color labeling schemes, so it's important to kind of pay attention there to the PCB to find out which one's which. So now that it's connected, you can see that we've got to unconnect this, or disconnect this red flag again to make sure that those cold and the warm are not shorted together. That way we have that color tuning capability. So once those are disconnected, we'll plug back in our light, we'll turn it on, and we can even test our color tuning on this one as well. And this one actually goes to 1900 Kelvin, so pretty nice and red there. All right, next up we're going to show how to connect up a low voltage fixture that only has 2 wires here, such as this LED panel light. So once again, you're going to want to find those terminals. This one has a red and black, and that's pretty universal. The red usually means positive, black usually means negative. So we can go ahead and confidently plug those in without even looking at the PCB. So we'll put the red into the positive here and the black into either of the negative terminals. We'll screw those in. And we're going to want to short that cold and warm once again. Otherwise, you're only getting half the amount of power from your cold or your warm. So, now that they are once again connected, we can test the line. And we have light. Perfect. For the final light fixture that we're going to show how to connect, it's going to be this panel light that's got color tuning. So this is actually this one's driver right here. These remote drivers, they can often come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and locations. So sometimes you'll be searching around for it, but usually they're pretty obvious, just like this. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. So here we can see where we plug in the AC, but we need to go further. We need to get to the DC input. So let's go ahead and unhook the entire thing here. All right. So in here you'll see like a whole bunch of circuitry. It's very impressive, very cool. But what we're looking for is just the 3 wires going to our LED. Right here they're pretty obvious. It's this yellow, gray, and white. And here once again you can see they're labeled. You know, sometimes they're not, and sometimes it takes a little trial and error. But here we can see LED positive is going to be our gray. W minus is going to be our white, and yellow is Y minus. So in this case, we're just going to pay attention to LED plus and W minus. The Y minus is going to be our C negative. So let's go ahead and snip those here. All right. Then we can go ahead and strip our wire. We'll twist them. And we'll plug them back into our SIB-P. So we're going to put that flag back where it's supposed to be so that the cold and warm aren't shorted. That gray goes into our positive. So let's plug that in first. Our yellow goes into our cool. So that goes there. And our white goes into W minus, or warm. All right, and now we can go ahead and take a look at if this works. So let's turn this around here. Plug it in to either one of the ports and turn it on. And it looks like we're in the clear. We have full capability of that color tuning as well.